All right, Zink and Al here. You're probably expecting Beyond Average podcast, but instead you're getting the worst two fans of the podcast, apparently.
Yeah, we'll talk about this. This finally get to make my debut. It's not on their podcast, mind you, but the unknown fan is doing a fan podcast. That's a little bit ironic, gotta say.
we were just talking. I don't know, maybe help them out a little bit. Maybe do it once a month or whatever. Just talk about what they got going on and see how that goes.
They're brothers, love them to death. They piss me off and they know how to rub me the wrong way. So, of course, Alan and I are going to come here, talk about what we think they could do a little bit better, how they suck a little bit, and go a little bit from there. Hopefully, maybe like a month, that's good, and get some feedback, maybe a couple extra times.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. All right, so let's get right into it. What do you think of the first, what is it? I don't know, 2 months worth of episodes so far?
Honestly, I'm a fan, dude. I know you yourself have been quoted to not being the biggest supporter, and
See, this is unbelievable. Even you have that in your mind somehow. Why am I not the biggest supporter?
You said yourself on their podcast, I listened to the audio prior to this because I needed to hear it. And you said you haven't listened to every minute of every episode. Now, no. I get it if it was 2 hours, 3 hours, Kirk Minahan show. You do spend all your time listening to that show, mind you.
True.
You've only listened to parts of 20-minute podcasts. Yes, they're not all great, and I will get into that. But I think you got to give them the support they need. I think that's root of Mick's issue there.
Well, the root of Mick's issue, I think, is any criticism he takes completely out of context, and it's like me hating on it. Anytime I try to say something, he takes it out of context and spins it into something that it's not.
Like I agree.
He legitimately got mad at me when we were having that. I think you were in the group text when we were having the group chat, and we were just going back and forth. He legitimately takes this very serious.
It's because he cares about it. He put his life on the line, and it was like 200 texts one day. He was bullshit, and I came from work. I was like, "Are you fucking joking me right now? Like, what are you guys talking?" And I going through it, and first off, he is way too critical when someone else is critical and almost tries to pick apart your assessment.
Yes, exactly.
And I love it. And I give feedback every episode. I listen to every episode. And I do give feedback, but he doesn't yet know how to take it and run with it. He almost takes it as we're attacking because we're boys. We've known each other since what?
Yeah, exactly.
Like in first grade. It's been you all your life. So he takes it as brotherly instinct. But I do say the way you went about it in that text was a little disrespectful, Al.
It could have been better. I mean, I went on and we talked about it. He read the text out loud. We don't have to get into it, but I don't know. I feel like he does get it's Sam. It's getting to both of their heads actually, because yesterday they both asked me what were the chances that they were going to get ad deals, Sam, that they were going to get money from this podcast.
Okay, I hear you. There shouldn't be that thought process yet. There shouldn't. You need to just attack it with as much content as possible. You have resources like Hamway. It shows that man has projected and brought viewership. You need to listen to and heed his words, which we'll get into more too. But what did they say? I need to know this. What did they say?
About what? Sorry.
The ads.
He literally just, they were doing like a rapid fire question. And they asked me, what are the percent chances that I thought they would get ad revenue from this podcast? I think my exact answer was like 3%.
It's a shot in the dark. You have to just do it because you enjoy doing it. And I think that's part of what you were talking about, flow. So like I wrote that down, and the idea of the flow issue. First off, I think because it's early and they're learning how to do it and learning how to go about it, they don't just let conversations flow out and die, right? Like when we sit in the basement and we're fucking talking a stupid basketball argument, fucking who's better, James Harden or X, we can go forever, and then it dies and transitions to something naturally. Mm-hmm. Don't allow it to do. When Nick feels a stale point, he moves on to the next subject because he's worried about this window, I feel like. Right. Am I off basis? I don't know. Like that's what I've been listening.
No, I agree. My whole thing is I've kept telling them that it needs to flow better, more of a conversation, and they've agreed. But at the same time, I feel like it's kind of on Mick to bring that out of Christian. Mick kind of seems like he's taken the main host role.
Yes.
And as we know, Christian has a lot that can be brought out of him.
That's
I think
yes.
right now Mick hasn't done the best job of particularly digging into, Christian, not deep down, but bringing out that particular side of him that we see when we're downstairs talking in the basement. You know what I mean?
Yes, you need to let Christian just go off on a tangent in a topic and ask him about something stupid. The best content has been when you guys were bullshitting about this conversation right here on that contest. When they're in Vegas and Christian was talking porn, I was dying hysterically because he was just going on a tangent about it, right? Like,
Right.
I need more. I think they need to focus around just like bullshitting more rather than, and that will come, I think, with doing 2 podcasts a week, right?
Yes, and well, you just said a great point. They need more bullshitting. We were having a conversation yesterday, Mick, Christian, and I, about they need segments, man. Like the interviews are cool and stuff, but
Yes.
it's gonna get stale over time. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
Like,
And there's a million interview
that's
podcasts
what I
out
mean.
there.
Like, yeah, cool. The Hamway interview was cool, but unless you know Hamway, are you really like gonna go and listen to that? You know
It's
what I mean?
and he brought up like it was flowing with him after I like the Hamway interview. I thought like his story was
No,
really
right,
cool,
definitely.
but they were flowing with him after joking, bullshit, and
Mhm.
the fight at the end of the podcast I just listened to was great. Like they need more. Like we need to go off and have a James Harden discussion podcast. Us four, we can spend an hour and a half talking James Harden, and if you want to build a team around him and shit like that, rather
Right,
than
yeah, and you just mean that general concept is something we can just go
yeah,
off
that's
on, and it just
an
comes out.
idea. Yes. And I think their problem, and it kind of led me to it, is they don't have a third voice or a producer. Like
Right.
good shows, there's 2 people, yes, but Mick and Christian agree on a lot of shit. Like it's
Mhm.
hard. Like one of us will disagree if we're all in a room, and they need to find. It might not be us, but they need to find, I think, somebody like that.
Right. Yep.
What
Totally.
else? Yeah, like it's one of those things. And then I think the content idea, dude, it's just more. They need more
Right.
Instagram. They need to make an Instagram page first off. It can't be mixed page. It can't be Christian's page. It's
Mhm.
got to be a clean Instagram. They need to see how
And
many
just pumping out
followers,
clips,
pump
pumping
it,
out clips
clips,
nonstop.
video content, fucking the honestly the dog. They need to include dogs more. Their podcast image is a
Right.
dog, and they haven't shown the bows enough. Like
Mhm.
it's got to
I
be.
know they're working on video and stuff like that, and they're talking about getting on YouTube and things, but definitely got to capitalize on that.
I think a little fan engagement too, dude.
Right.
Like
Right.
we like everybody's got a dog. We got people who know like maybe you do the vet dog of the week or dog of the month, like something like that.
Or even like, or even
PFT
have
is
like
Blake of the
what
year.
some of the other podcasts do, where just call some of your boys in the middle of an episode. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
yes.
If you're having a debate and you guys are disagreeing, call one of us, call Case, whoever.
Pull us in, bring a third party because they might not get the third person yet. They may not have it, so you got to get that middle party to break a disagreement or
Exactly.
push a conversation a little bit longer. And
Mhm.
Case, what you and I get a lot of disrespect. Where's Case been, dude?
I don't know. They were talking about bringing him on for like a funny segment of like, Case on the couch or something like that. But I
That's
don't
what
know
I'm
if it's
talking.
by choice that he doesn't want to be involved in the
Okay, I can
podcast. That would
see
be my
that.
guess.
He might not want to be like a
Right.
voice to it. Like it was weird for me even to try and jump in front of a microphone.
So hold on. Let's get into it right now. It's been how many episodes? 8? Is that what it is?
8 episodes. Yes, I looked. Yes,
Damn,
8.
why the fuck have you not been on this podcast?
I'm not interesting, dude. I don't know. I don't.
All right. I
I'm
was like, all right,
forgotten about.
you can understand the first few, whatever, like, okay, they're trying to get their jive going, but there has been 8. Sam, they had Dice Coda on yesterday. Dice Coda made his Beyond, nothing against Dice Coda at all. He's just not you, but he made his Beyond Average podcast.
All right, I'm gonna say this because Dice is my boy. Fuck Dice. He were in high school. We used to go off on each other on a regular basis, and we used to tell each other fuck each other off. But regardless, that hurts a little bit. It stings.
And
I love Dice.
it's not like you haven't tried to get on the, but like in fairness to me, they asked me a bunch of times. I was like, no, I don't really feel like it right now. Whatever. You have openly said like, oh hey, I'm coming down. Like let's record.
Let's do it.
Let's do something.
Hey, Mick tonight.
They've
Mick, I'll be
never
here
one
tonight.
time
Let's
jumped
record.
on.
What time you recording? Mick, when are we recording tonight? Nothing,
I
dude.
can
And
personally vouch on that. You've sent multiple texts.
why? Why do
Like,
you
I'm
think it
coming down,
is?
we're gonna record. Let's do something, and nothing.
I need to know why. What's your opinion on why have I not got any love?
I swear to Sam, I swear to God, I don't know, and I bring it up all the time. I literally have no idea.
I'm like kind of hurt, bro. It's pretty tough
At
sometimes.
first, it was like, a joke, but now, like, the more episodes that pass, I'm just like, wow,
It's
holy shit.
I have to do it our own podcast
Literally,
just
we had to come out with our own podcast about Beyond Average to get you on.
if you're a person who listens to Mick and doesn't know who I am, which probably a very few
Probably a
people,
very small
very
percentage,
small
right?
percentage, they're probably like, who the fuck is this Zen kid? Like, what? Who is this fucking loser that they keep
Who
bringing
is
up?
this? Yeah, this fucking scrub.
It's yeah. Okay. So Al, what is your reasoning between not wanting to be a full member on the
Okay,
cast?
all right, yeah, good question. So we've had this debate a lot. It comes down to the interviews. Like, I think I would be a great addition, not to toot my own horn, but I think I'd be a great addition to the podcast. But Mick, I feel like he does kind of steer the creative direction of said podcast,
Okay.
and we just have a completely different creative mindset, in the sense, like, he's all about these interviews and shit like that, and I think they're cool, some of them, but in reality I couldn't give a shit, you know what I mean? I'd more want to do a podcast where, like, you build characters within the show and you talk to each other, like you were saying, we can get screaming matches out of each other when we're really going, just content
Yes.
like that, versus just, not to say they're interviewing random people, but
Okay.
I think that
So
can get a little boring after you start doing, a dozen, 2 dozen of that just over and over again,
that's a great perspective into the 2 episodes a week. Why not you be the third voice in that second content episode and you help them on the back end if you can produce, because obviously it's a lot when Mick's producing, thinking of questions, trying to interview his idols because he fucking dropped the ball, mind you.
Oh
Like,
my god.
dude,
Wait, do you want to get into that?
I'm all I'm gonna say is, Al, I've never done this before. I haven't been a part of it.
Mhm.
I'm gonna record this successfully right now, no hiccups,
Sam, what was
and
the first thing we did when we got on here? We're like, all right,
tested
let's
it
let's do like a
8
quick test
times,
run to
bro.
make sure
How
it's
many times? And that's what I'm saying. They need, because Mick's so focused on questions, content, being a producer. Why
Mhm.
not? Because you don't want to be in the interview portion. You don't really care for it. Be in the background helping with the technical stuff because you're good with that shit. And
Right.
then be
And
the
again, and not to knock Christian, but he's never been into, like, the big technology type person,
I
Like,
love Christian to
used like
death.
a cracked iPhone
That's
6 for
not him.
years,
His go to. The man could
Right. That's just not him.
put your house together, but he won't be able to put the computer in the house together.
Right.
Like, I love him to death. And but like so like I think that would be a good spot for you. And I was thinking about it, thinking about the drop the ball on getting your idol on and not having it recorded. It's because he's too focused on making it sound good,
Right.
which segues me into thinking, do you think Mick is too focused on the way it sounds and the content he prefers rather than just getting as much time and content out there?
Yes, I do. I think he definitely is worried about the image of the podcast. You know what I mean? Like, he wants it to sound real legit. He wants it to be real presentable. Where I think, like you're saying, that can sometimes kind of bog down the content. He almost wants to sound like too professional with it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. It's he's too focused on it being a Barstool podcast rather than just fucking putting as much out there in your voice and making people laugh, making people engaged. It's just roll with it. And like, he'll probably cut up this a bit.
Hmm.
But I don't think he should cut up the podcast as much. I just let a
Yes.
fucking conversation
Yes.
segue. If you say something disrespectful, ignorant, something you don't want out on the internet,
Mhm.
full heartedly understand that.
Right.
But
Oh, but the great example. They literally were saying the other day how I won't say whose ever interview it was or whatever, but they say they were chopping stuff out of it, and I was like, for what? Like, nobody offended anybody or said a racial slur or something like that. You know what I mean? Just press record and put it out at the end.
that's
Let it
like,
go.
think about the two people that Mick probably projects himself for: Dave Portnoy and Kirk Minahan, right?
Right.
Probably
Right.
probably is two. Those guys
Two of
literally
the
put as
biggest media
much,
people in the state.
and they don't cut anything. Dave Portnoy yesterday on the internet he cut his audio or video, but then was doing fucking lines or
Right.
something.
Doing
Like,
lines of coke after.
and Kirk rarely cuts stuff, and his shit just runs clean. Like,
Right.
I think that's too much of a focus, and
Mhm.
he'll probably be pissed when he listens to this, but whatever. Fucking.
Right. Now, do you think some of that's on Christian as well?
I think Christian is in to be a personality voice and bring ideas. I don't
Okay.
think Christian will be the guy to make the decisions on how much it's produced.
Right.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe does he have input?
Should he force his hand on that more?
I don't know.
We're doing this.
Okay, I don't want to vouch for him. I don't know his thought on it. But I think Christian is realistic to say, if you put out a 20-minute podcast, is that worth my time?
Right.
Like, yeah, you're worried about it being too long, but as a 20-minute podcast, is someone really going to listen to it, engage in it, and not zone out for half of the time you speak?
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's part of mine. It's like, I want it longer. Like, I enjoyed the hour with Hamway because they got a good interview and then they shot the shit for.
And right, and that's what I'm kind of getting at is Christian's got a really creative mind. Why isn't he enforcing that on the podcast more?
I think he will. I think he's letting Mick, because it's Mick's baby. Mick started it. I think he's letting Mick force it. But I think as Christian feels comfortable and as we're bagging a little bit, I think, and more episodes they need contact, Christian will flourish. Like, his ideas, fucking, he'll probably go on about golf tangents in fucking the next, like, we haven't heard anything about golf, and half Christian's life is golf. Why?
Mm-hmm. Like, dude, he had a perfect example. He's not to blow up his spot or whatever. He's going to see Dr. Robert Leonard, right? The hair doctor.
I need it too. I need it.
Been the perfect segment to start talking about in the podcast, and then you can update when you go see him what's coming up after. And
bro,
like
and I would appreciate that. And
content out, you know,
I would appreciate that. Like I'm thinking about getting it. I'm a almost 27-year-old man who has a little bit of bald on the top. That's an okay thing to say, and I want to go see Dr. Leonard and Dr. DiStefano.
Shout out Dr. Robert Leonard, man.
Hey, let's first advertisement spot, right? Like, we need that money, baby. Oh shit. But okay, Al. And now I was thinking one of the last things, we want to give them as much time, but realistic guests they can get on their podcast. Now, you just told me they got Dice, and I love Dice. Dice is my guy. He's been around forever, but I want to hear people in our lives like Hamway who have had an interesting story if they're going to do guests.
Yep, because I may have said it to you before, dude, but I think Philippe would be a good one.
I think Philippe's sister would also be good because she's recorded now at where was it? It was one of the big record companies. Getting them maybe dual on the same.
Right. I mean, that's just somebody that we went to school with.
Have they considered our guy Spaceline yet?
Oh no, yeah, I don't know if they were talking about.
I would love to hear his time at Focal.
Right.
Or not Focal? Why can't I think of it right now? Phase. Yes, thank you.
Yep.
Focal was Wojo was in.
And he moved to, I can't. What's the name of the one he's at now? But
he's Sentinel now.
Right. So you could.
I'd love to hear about that story. I'd love to hear about the game industry, about certain people that he's met in the game industry, and then once he does that, gets a little burn from that. Why not go after gamers? Maybe go after Christians into gaming. Why not do a segment of content where you do a podcast and game with the person? I would love to do a podcast, and this is me vocalizing an idea I've had for a while, but you do a podcast right now, what we're doing, but I'm ripping Fortnite with Spaceline carrying me. And we're shooting the shit about his time.
Talking about, yeah, exactly.
With something like that.
In his element while you're doing the interview.
You get a podcast, you get a visual, you get everything out of it. Right. Plus you get a rip from your boy, and he's doing Twitch while you're doing it.
And yeah, right, you're on Twitch Live.
Right, like you can get it's all segments. Okay, so we got Spaceline. I'd love to see Philippe. I think that's a really good one.
Who else can you think of?
That's kind of where I was standing at the two people who have made such a big impact, I guess.
Yeah,
they need to bring Tom back and actually give Tom some time to talk.
I know Tom could be a very funny character.
Tom's a hilarious individual. I think he's probably one of the funniest people.
Like that interview could have been much better with Tom. Just my personal opinion.
Much.
Talk about like the crazy shit that Tom had went through in his life.
Just vamp about shit.
Italy and all that bullshit.
Yeah, bro. I think he'd love to talk about it. Like,
just the stupid shit he's done.
Yes, and like maybe they didn't have a direct. Do you think planning goes into it too? Do you think there is plan? Do you think they've got questions fully written out? Like, what?
Truthfully, I really don't know. I'm sure like they just have some general questions that they're like their go-tos are, but I don't know what their preparation is. I really don't.
Okay. Well, Al, I think that's good enough time that we've given these guys, and because we're not fans.
Exactly, we're not fans. We only took like 20 minutes to make sure we were getting set up and everything.
Just to pre-prep. We've been talking about this for days. We just gave content to you guys. I'm going to say it once. You can suck a dick, both of you. I don't want to be on your show anymore. I'm just going to do my month bag on you guys, but
Zane
okay.
is out.
I, I'm a
No,
liar.
but
I'm
in
a
all
liar. Okay.
seriousness, we love the podcast, what they're doing, and
Yeah.
give it a listen. Keep going, fellas.
Yeah, I give feedback every week. It's getting better. They're
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's one good point, Zing. It's literally every episode I feel there's been growth and it's gotten better and better on each one. So
yeah, it's gonna be good, and that's why we're doing this, and we're gonna help them out throughout the cause. But
yep, exactly. We
we
can
do
now.
love you both, you shits. Maybe bring me on sometime, and
Yeah, get this fucking guy on once in a while, would you?
fucking assholes. But love you both. Beyond Average, follow it, join it. There's gonna be an Instagram. We're gonna get things going, and
Yep, we're gonna help pump out some content, dropping every Thursday. So,
love it, love it. Well, have a nice night.
all right, then.
Okay.
Yeah, that was pretty dope. I think we did pretty good.